Yeah, absolutely. So I was a Royal Marine for 22 years. And before that, sort of as a kid growing up, it was always an ambition to become a Royal Marine. A lot of people might want to be a pilot, ballerina, UFC fighter, but for me it was a Royal Marine. And growing up, I always had that in my mind, but I was a massive martial arts fan, action movie fan, so I'd often be watching Rocky, Van Damme, all that kind of stuff. So I had a love of martial arts, but I was always focused on joining the Royal Marines. And when I did, I was a bit disillusioned really, because I was expecting us to be doing martial arts every day. I don't know if anyone got the Combat Survival magazine, but in the centre of that was 2 Royal Marines actually doing unarmed combat. So I thought we were going to be doing that every day, but we weren't. So once I'd been in the Royal Marines a few years, I realised that I had an opportunity to promote more Royal Marines doing martial arts. And I got introduced to Brazilian jiu-jitsu as part of a close combat instructor's course. And whilst on that course, so whoever trains Brazilian jiu-jitsu in here, you'll understand what this is like. It's like discovering magic for the first time. And from that moment on, I was hooked on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I made it my aim to train as many Royal Marines in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as we could.
I've seen on the website that he has quotes from people that have suffered from PTSD, ex-veterans, and they said how much Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu helped them, which they said it would be hard for someone to understand unless they've done Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like you said. Can you just talk to me about some of those success stories that the organisation has seen, some things you've seen firsthand, how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has changed people's lives?
Yeah, absolutely. So the reality of the charity, Reorg, is that we are changing and in some cases saving lives through martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So different people have got their own story. So one in particular who you saw on the video at the start, Mark Ormrod, who's a triple amputee, was injured whilst serving on operations, which left him with one arm. And before he got injured, he did high-level Muay Thai, and after his injury, he thought martial arts was out of his life forever. And it wasn't until we met at 30 Commando, and we were chatting in the Sergeant's Mess over a coffee, and he basically explained to me that whilst he was out with his family, he was almost going through QBOs in his head, quick battle orders, and he'd be looking around thinking, what would I actually do if that person attacked me? What would I do if I was at home, there was a home invasion, someone broke in the house? How would I defend myself and my family with just one arm? Because although he walks on prosthetics, when he's at home he takes them off, so he goes to sleep without his prosthetics on. So I basically said to him, right, let's go down to the combat room. I've never trained a triple amputee before, and let's give it a go. Let's see what we can do. And then after those 2 hours in the gym, he was able to legitimately take me to the floor, get on top of me, and put a submission hold on me, in which if I'd not tapped, I'd have gone to sleep, or he'd have damaged my joint. And that was like a light bulb moment for him, that he could legitimately learn a martial art and go through the rank system, not through pity or anything like that. It was through something that he was able to do, gaining knowledge, gaining experience, and he's now a purple belt. So he's been training with me and some of the guys for 6 years.
And how great is it for yourself as well to see those stories firsthand unfold and see how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu influences people's lives? You get a real good buzz out of that as well.
It's incredible, yeah. It's incredible, and each story is different, and each person is different, and they've got their own journey. And for some people, their injuries are not visible. So mental health is massive, and I'm sure everyone in here knows someone, if they've not suffered with it themselves, from one side of the scale all the way through to the other. And we've helped some men and women who literally did not enjoy living. And we've introduced them to the community of jiu-jitsu, and it's brought them out of isolation into a new community where they've got purpose, belonging, and they're doing something which gives them fulfillment. I think that's the most important thing. And ultimately, it leaves them happy.
Can you tell us about some of the events you put on as well? I saw online that you do a charity rollathon as well, which sounds incredible, and you've done long swims as well. Can you just talk about those as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So during the time of Reorg, ultimately we're a charity, so we need money. And we can't do the work we do without money. So we've had some incredible people doing some amazing challenges. But one thing we did sort of as a team, as a collective, the UK jiu-jitsu community all took part in a 24-hour rollathon. And last year was our second annual one. And we had clubs all up the UK, you know, from Inverness all the way down to Plymouth, taking part, training jiu-jitsu for 24 hours, raising funds for Reorg. The first year, myself, I sort of travelled around a few of the southern jiu-jitsu academies. But then the second year, a team of us went up to Inverness and we started at the most northern jiu-jitsu academy and worked our way south down to the most southerly jiu-jitsu academy, training at every academy for 24 hours. And it was horrible. It was hard work, you know, but what was so uplifting and energizing was at every academy we went to, there was like children, there was seniors, you know, all training on the mat together, but for Reorg, you know, raising money for Reorg, and that just energized us, you know, ready to go to the next academy. So yeah, that was awesome. And then we've had individuals doing awesome stuff. So Mark Ormrod, you know, he did a 5K run on prosthetics, did a 1K ocean swim. We've had people up mountains training jiu-jitsu. So yeah, if you want to get involved, you want to be part of the team, you know, go to our website and let us know, you know, what challenge you're thinking of doing. And yeah, we'd love to have you on board.
You have a very famous trustee as well, who's a massive fan of mixed martial arts as well, Tom Hardy as well. What's it like been working alongside with him and having his support as well?
Yeah, so I think it's important to know that Tom was a friend first, and ultimately we share that love of jiu-jitsu. We're both dads, you know, we're both very enthusiastic about the military and helping the military. But like our four-man team that we started with, obviously myself, Mark, who we've spoke about, another veteran, Trent Scanlon, who's a business owner, and then Tom. And we're all from different worlds, you know, and we all bring something different to the party. And I think the one thing that he absolutely does is he helps inspire, enthuse, motivate other people to find out what Reorg is. And ultimately, once people have a look at what we do, it's not very often that they don't decide to get involved or start their own jiu-jitsu journey.
And just mentioning that, is it just a case of going on the Reorg website, or is there another path where people can get involved with this journey?
Yeah, so it very much depends what they want to do. So if it's someone who is struggling and they need our support, then they go onto the website, there's an application form where they can apply. And we're just about to launch a new program actually called Reorg'S 60. And it's hopefully going to launch beginning of June. And ultimately, if you're a veteran, firefighter, you know, from the first responder, the emergency services community, and you need our support through jiu-jitsu or fitness, you click on that application form, and after the vetting process, you will start a 60-day program where we will fund that for you. We'll send you your kit, your equipment. We essentially solve the problems. We answer the excuses. Like George was talking about how, you know, quite often we don't feel like training, and we fill that void, do you know what I mean? So let's say you don't know where to train, we'll find you your nearest academy. You don't have kit to training, we'll send you a gi, we'll send you no gi kit to training. You don't have the funds to train, we'll pay for 60 days of training to get you involved, to get you part of that community. So once you've finished those 60 days of training, we reevaluate. Did you enjoy it? Did you like it? Do you want to carry on? And if you do, then you'll start 365 days of training. And at the end of that, you're going to be well into our Reorg community by then, well into that jiu-jitsu academy, where you are locally. And ultimately, you don't need us anymore. You know, and I think that's the ultimate goal, is that you are self-sufficient. We're giving you the rod rather than giving you the fish. And that new community that you're involved in, those men and those women who get on that mat with you and share that mat with you, they're your new family, you know, going to take you forward and help you achieve some of those goals that George was talking about there.
You mentioned the knowledge that George was dropping early before. I guess you're just soaking everything in, aren't you? And that you're going to take away to your organisation as well, because you've got two of the best ever. You've got some of the greatest stars in the history of the sport here. What's it like for yourself, just soaking everything in?
Do you know what? What an honour and a privilege to be on this stage, you know, with George St. Pierre and some of the other athletes that are going to come through. You know, I was watching these guys when I was a white belt, you know, in my room in 4-5 Commando, Scotland, and I'd be watching and like soaking it all in, and then I would go and train with the guys in the gym, just like regurgitating what I'd seen, because back then we didn't have what we have now, where you've got jiu-jitsu academies all over the world. Like back then, the nearest black belt to me was a 2.5 hour drive. You know, my instructor was a purple belt. So it's amazing to be in their presence. And I think what they could do is just get more eyes and ears on Reorg and what we're about. Like you've seen the kit that I'm wearing, you know, Venom collaborated with us, the biggest brand in the world, and you know, 100% of the profit from this kit goes to the charity. So people can wear this and it's almost like a new uniform for them. You know, they've left the service, they've handed in their ID card, the berry, but they can put this on and still feel part of a family. So the QR code up there, if you hit that, that'll take you straight to the site. They've got gis, no gi kit. I've got some gis over there so to have a look at, and all the money from that goes direct to the charity. We've actually got a video, an official Venom video, if you'd like to see that.
So just getting that collaboration with Venom, like you said, they're absolutely huge in the combat sports sector. How did that come about, and how ecstatic were you to collaborate with such a powerhouse?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm honest. These things just happen. It's like being here today. I'm like, how did this happen? And I think it's just good people seeing what we're doing, wanting to get behind it, wanting to support. I mean, the last UFC London event, we got invited to that through Venom. And I was there with Dana White, talking like we are now about Reorg and what we do. And he was like, I completely get it. He's like, that is how the UFC started, because me and the Fertitta brothers were jiu-jitsu nuts, and you're talking my language, you know, so that was like our first partnership with the UFC, and then they sponsored our first jiu-jitsu championship last year, which is in Wolverhampton. We're doing that again this year, so we've got any jiu-jitsu competitors, the 4th of June, Sunday, the whole Reorg team will be there. So please come along, get involved in that, get on the mat, and everyone that registers, again, 100% of their fees go to the Reorg charity. So you step on that mat and you compete, but you're competing for something bigger than just winning a medal. You're actually supporting the work that we do and ultimately changing and saving lives through jiu-jitsu.
Final one, just mentioning that, do you have any other events coming up aside from that everyone should be aware of?
So we're just sort of moving into the CrossFit space. So if people don't like jiu-jitsu, weird, I know, who doesn't like jiu-jitsu? But if they don't, they can do fitness. So we're going to be doing some stuff there with CrossFit Games and all that kind of stuff. But the next big thing for us is really the Reorg Open. So we're expecting to double the capacity. It's open to spectators as well. So if people just want to come and watch and see if it's for them, they can do. But really it's open to the floor, you know. It's like, if you've got a burning desire to go run the Marathon des Sables, to swim a mile in the sea, or even just run 5K. Let's say you've never run 5K before. Do it for Reorg, you know? And you're part of our team, and that'll give you that burning fire in your belly to get up in the morning, get your trainers on, and start training, you know? And you can hit us up, send us an email, send us a message on Instagram, Reorg Charity or Sam Sheriff, and we can send you the Just Giving link. You can start that up and get involved, because there's nothing better than raising money for something that you believe in. You know, so just recently, I did a rope climb challenge for 24 hours, which was disgusting, and I'll never ever do that again, by the way. So I started at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I finished at 10 o'clock in the morning the following day. It's a 20-foot rope outdoors. And that's because of my rope marine background that I chose that challenge. But yeah, raised just under £18,000 for Reorg. but it was absolutely awful. You know, even with the mindset of a Royal Marine, you know, there was times where I was talking to myself, like 2 a.m, just saying, you can do this, just one more shift, you know. So, yeah, we've got it done, we've got it cracked. So I suppose my point there is that the event is what you make it. You know, you choose the event and do it for us, and you'll have 100% of our support.
It's been massively inspiring and motivating speaking to you, Sam. Everyone give it up for Sam Sheriff.